Hi guys, it's Chaim again, and I'm back with another computer video. This time I'm taking a break from the ST because I was looking around in my man cave here and I spotted a system that I acquired probably about 6 years ago at least now, definitely before COVID. And it's one that I owned back in the day actually as well, and that machine is the Sega Dreamcast. Now, my original Dreamcast that I bought is not this one actually. It was bought 2001, and I still actually have the receipt for it somewhere. I got it from Woolworths in Ellesmere Port for the princely sum of £99.99 because it was just after Sega had announced that they were stopping Dreamcast production. So the prices dropped and I went out and got one because a friend of mine had one and I rather enjoyed playing it, and I wanted one as well. So yeah, that was my original Dreamcast. I sold it I think the following year because in Christmas 2001 I got a PlayStation 2, because even when I bought the Dreamcast I knew that its days were numbered. Once Sega had announced the production had stopped, I knew that it was only a matter of time before the new games would dry up for the system and support would kind of go away. I did enjoy the Dreamcast a lot. Back then I used to play games like Crazy Taxi, Choo Choo Rocket. I used to play online on my Dreamcast. I remember with the 56k modem that was attached, I remember trailing the cable, the phone cable, from my mum and dad's bedroom across the landing into my bedroom, connected it into the Dreamcast so I could go online on my 56k connection. And yeah, it was a good system, and I used to get the Dreamcast magazines as well and get the demos. I remember one 18-wheeler, which was quite a fun game. And of course Shenmue as well, really impressive stuff. Bought this one, as I say, about 6 years ago. It's never been in brilliant condition. It was yellowed when I got it, but I think it's even more yellow now. You can actually see I've already started taking this apart because what I'm going to do is inspect the inside of the machine and retrobrite it as well if I can. And you can see just the difference here in the plastic. So this is I've already detached the modem that's on the side, but you can see if you check the color of the modem compared to the plastic that's behind it, that's the color that the machine is supposed to be. You can see it's really yellowed quite a lot. So I'm going to continue taking the Dreamcast apart. I'll let you watch, see what I find inside, give it a little clean inside, check everything looks as it should with my limited expertise. The ultimate aim is to obviously remove both the top, see that's the right colour as well underneath, to remove the top and the bottom of the case. I do have some hydrogen peroxide, and I will need the other components as well to make a retrobrite formula. And providing we have the weather, I will get it outside in the sun and see if we can get this machine, if not back to its former glory, then at least a hell of a lot less yellow. And we'll see how we go, and we can maybe get some nice before and after shots as well. So we'll continue taking apart this Sega Dreamcast. Okay, so hopefully you can see everything okay. I've got the overhead tripod set up as best as I can. We have here, as mentioned, a very yellow Sega Dreamcast. I've already detached the modem. I've already got the lid detached. So I'm going to put this to one side. We have here some screws. These two screws were for the power switch. Those 4 screws are for the underneath of the case. this fascia at the front is also very yellow and will need some retrobrite treatment. Thankfully, unlike many modern machines and phones, they use pretty standard screws, so I'm able to quite easily remove these screws using this electronics screwdriver. The screwdriver in question is a Weha PH1, which was recommended to me by another YouTuber, Hans Campbell, who has repairs a variety of different machines. These screws are now loose, so they should just come loose. We will tip this over and hopefully that lose all of them. There we are. We'll try not to mess up the lens assembly. These screws I will put here. It looks like there's still one in there at the moment. And when they're stubborn, I tend to find that using an extra screwdriver just to gently persuade it to come out does the trick, usually. There we go. So that should now, there's a little ribbon connector on here. Gently remove that. Right, we'll keep that safe. If you can avoid frying electronics in the sun, it's probably best doing it. This is the lens assembly housing. Like pretty much every piece of electronics in the last 30 years, it's made in China, according to this sticker. Now this is a GD-ROM drive, not a DVD-ROM drive, not a CD-ROM drive. It was a proprietary, as far as I know, proprietary drive designed primarily for the Dreamcast. One thing about the GD-ROM, G stands for gigabyte, so obviously it doesn't hold as much memory as a DVD. However, unlike the PlayStation 2, it was very easy from day one to make copied games for the Dreamcast. And unlike the PlayStation, you didn't have to chip them or modify them to run the copies. It would run the copies out of the box. So you could just go online, download disk images of Dreamcast games, put them on a disc, and they would work. There was a lot of images online where they would fit onto a CD, because obviously GD was a proprietary format, and you know, they'd make cuts, you know, they'd remove cut scenes and what have you to make sure it fitted onto a CD, but the games were playable. And I must confess, I did have a few of those. I've still got scars from about, I must have been about 13 years old. Me and my friend, being young, slightly geeky kids that we were, we had an idea of creating our own computer. And we thought to help design the computer, we would take one apart. And what we did was, I had an Atari 520 ST at the time, And me and my friend took it to pieces, and guess what? We couldn't put it back together again. And guess what? When we tried putting it back together again, we ended up breaking it. So I don't want to do that again with this. So I know for a fact that when I last used this machine, it worked. And as far as I know, it still works. That's the fan assembly, I think, yeah. That looks easy enough, 2 little screws. And that, there we go. So that is actually held in. That is held in by the screws for the fan. So now we know. That was easier than I thought, so that's good. What I am finding inside this Dreamcast is, I don't know if you can see, but little strange, like, I wouldn't say it was dust, it's black in colour, like little black powder type stuff. I'm not sure what that is. And there's some there. I'm hoping it's not mould. But I'll do my best to clean that out once it's all disassembled. Pop the modem over here with the top case. Let's continue. So I wonder whether we can just, rather than detaching all this, whether we can just remove the plate itself with everything on it. Probably not is the answer to that, because I think, yeah, looking at it, these screws here are actually going into the case, so they need to come out. And I'm actually surprised at how little there is inside this case as well. I mean, I know it's not the biggest case in the world, but when you think about the Dreamcast as a console, it's not a simple bit of hardware by any stretch. It's capable of running some pretty powerful games, which, okay, in today's world are not super impressive. But when you're as old as I am and you can remember when these machines came out and they were cutting edge, it just looks like not much equipment, not much hardware in here that was doing all the work. Another game I remember playing, and I got quite into, was Skies of Arcadia, one of the later titles on the Dreamcast. I remember playing that quite a lot. It's a shame that the Dreamcast didn't stick around longer than it did. I think Sega, I mean, I didn't work at Sega, obviously, so I don't know what their accounts were like at the time. They may have been absolutely losing shed loads of money on the Dreamcast, but I just wish that they'd kept it going, really. They were clearly still selling consoles. Okay, it might not have been as competitive as the PlayStation, the Xbox and the GameCube, but it was still a good console, and it's a shame that it didn't keep going, really. I would have liked it to just carry on, really. I would like Sega to still be in the hardware business, because the duopoly of Sony and Microsoft, I'm not a big fan of, really, and Nintendo are just kind of doing their own thing. I think competition is good. More manufacturers making hardware is good for the consumer, more choice. That's an interesting little piece of plastic there. So how is this connected? It's on there, there's clips. I'm trying not to butcher the board when I remove these clips. Can I just leave that out without breaking anything? Yes, it's plugged on. It's quite a big plug there. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pins that hold that onto the plate. There's a fuse in there, some capacitors, which with my not fantastic eyesight, but they look okay to me. And I haven't heard any issues about these exploding and failing and what have you. So fingers crossed they'll be okay for the foreseeable. I can leave those alone. That's an interesting little piece of plastic. I'll make sure to remember to put that there because it's obviously needed for something. You can remove, start to remove the screws for this here. One little thing. Might have to use the tip method on these. Caution, for continued safety, please replace barrier after servicing. It's a given, isn't it? This is annoying. Let's try these back ones. This screwdriver, by the way, is excellent. I highly recommend it. It's helped me out a lot with various machines. Screw for that. There's this one. That's not budging, so let's tip it. There's one. The other one doesn't want to budge. Try not to break the GD drive. And that just does not want to budge, and it's frustrating. There we go. Come out in a fashion. Right. Are we anywhere near getting this off now? I hope so. Are there any screws that are missing under here? that I can see. There is what looks like these levers. Risk of electric shock, do not open. Well, we'll soon find out. It's not coming off. This is far too keen to fall off for my liking. That sounded promising. Get in there. There we go. A bit more progress. To the next layer. This machine hasn't been powered on for at least 3 years. So any charge that's in here, I'm hoping will have long gone away. Closer to getting this layer removed. Yes. Okay. That was slightly more complicated than I would have liked, to be honest, but we got there in the end. We have the bottom separated from the top, so we can now retrobrite and worry about putting it all back together later. Oh boy, I'm not looking forward to that. But yeah, I guess the next question is about these stickers. I may just leave them as they are, because the bottom doesn't look too bad, and who looks at the bottom of a console anyway? I can maybe just give it a light clean, get rid of this residue off these pads, and just retrobrite the side, the back and the front, see if I can clear off some of these strange marks. So I'll do that next.